Hey everyone, Draco Prime 220 here, and tonight, I'm sorry about my hair. I was at my aunt's helping her with her home, so my hair's a little frazzled. I'm sorry. Tonight, I'm doing a request for Free Space 99, asking me if I did a season 10 of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, what would it all have and in it. I think there is one villain that I think her name alone can be like the endgame villain. And on a side note, my concept for a season 10 of Friendship is Magic would revolve around Discord's ex-girlfriend, the spirit of malice herself, Cosmos. And seriously, Cosmos, that's huge, you know. That Cosmos, that right there, that name alone sounds like an endgame kind of villain. First of all, the one thing I would like to touch upon is that Season 9, while good, the finale was epic. I'm sorry, Discord, after what he pulled, there was no ramifications of his actions. He just got off scot-free. I'm sorry, yeah, he realized he did wrong. He helped the main six escape to find Twilight. But still, he could have, basically, because of his actions, believing he was trying to do something good, he literally almost caused the end of Equestria itself between the three empowered, like, superpowered villains and the Wendigos, and because everything from the beginning of Season 9 to the end was because of him and his actions. And I'm thinking, where in his chaotic mind does he think this is a good idea? I'm like, he never stopped to think, you know, hey, could this have a chance to backfire? Like, I kind of get it. He was trying to do good, but it didn't go the way he hoped. It completely backfired, and he was actually outsmarted. And you would think the Lord of Chaos, literally a cosmic being, a god, who has lived countless centuries and would be like a little bit more like aware. You know, these guys have a history of backstabbing and trickery and deceit. Why did it not cross his mind that they would trick him or backstab him? Well, on the other hand, I do agree with the whole Grogar thing, but like I said, what I found out in my previous video, Discord being Grogar was planned from the very beginning, so there was really no changing that. But this is my concept for version for a Season 10 of Friendship is Magic, and it would revolve around how the ponies would respond and react with Discord, interact with him. Because there is a comic dub done by Ivica. She has done MLP art for numerous audio dramas. She doesn't do MLP anymore. She does like Has Been Hotel, Hell of a Boss. But she made one called a comic dub with like VAs like Muscript, Brandon Random VA, among others. I think also I can't remember. I think someone else that I know of played Discord. I think it was Sugar Cloud who played Fluttershy in that one, because her voice sounds very similar to the one in The Forest Beast. So I'm thinking that was Sugar Cloud. They were like, this is like after the events of Season 9, and how the ponies are like, we're not too thrilled with Discord, after how he pretty much caused all this from the beginning. Yeah. It showed also the guilt that Discord was feeling, for all this. I will try and find a playlist of the last adventure, if anyone's curious who has not seen it. It will be in the description box below. So, yeah. Also, the other thing I would involve is returning characters from the movie. And we did get a Season 10 in comics, and that makes me question, if they had intentions to do a Season 10 from the get-go, why do it in comic form? Why couldn't you do it in animation? That I don't understand. I get it. They were kind of running out of ideas. They said they wanted to end the story on a high note, the series on a high note, best they could. I get it. But that just makes me wonder, why couldn't they not do this on a animation level, but they did it on a comic level? That kind of tells me they had an idea for Season 10 all this time, they just didn't go through with it in animation. The one concept I did like from the comics of Season 10 of FIM was the return of characters from the movie. I do know that would be part of my concept, is bringing characters. It wouldn't be going the same way as the comic version of Season 10, but I would bring in, like, the Pirates, Tempest, Capper, maybe even Grubber, seeing how he never shows up. He's not even in a cameo in the show at all. So, and I know Grubber was not really the most liked character. I did hear that some people found him actually annoying. I didn't mind him. He just seemed like he was like that classic cliche villain henchman. I'll just emphasize how bad the villain is. Wait a minute. I think I hear someone at the door. Hold on. Okay, sorry everyone. People go by here and I hear keys jingling, and you never know if that's someone who's gonna knock on your door. Yeah, I'm like, that's one of the concepts I would use, but they wouldn't go the way it did in the comics. The Pirates, Tempest, and Capper. And also, My Little Pony's not afraid to teach lessons in their show. So, I think one of them would be stealing. Like, the message of not to steal. Capper is a thief, he is a bit of a con artist, and he's a charmer. I would think of a way to use some of those skills for a better purpose, but teach him how stealing can get not only you in trouble, but others around you in trouble. And I would think that Capper finds a way to use his charming con artist skills without the stealing for a better purpose. The Pirates, I don't know. I think there would be a lesson with them with recklessness, because pirates are reckless adventurers at times, and they like treasure and everything. They kind of feel invincible, with the sword and the gun and the cutlass and everything. I would have them appear as like reoccurring allies, and Tempest. Now, Tempest, I think, the one story that I really liked is that she rekindled her friendship with some of the friends that she blamed for what happened in the Ursa Minor's cave. And that comic I would adapt into an episode. How ponies are like, and other creatures like, I don't know about her. But then she would go to the Crystal Empire and learn to rekindle with the friendship of the two ponies that she felt abandoned her when the Ursa Minor broke her horn and scarred her face. Now, the other Tempest episode, and I do know Tempest would appear in the season opener and finale of my concept of Season 10. I would have an episode where Grubber, hold on a minute. Someone knock at the damn door. Hello? Sorry once again. I will be honest, where I currently live, some people like pulling practical jokes. I don't mind it as long as it's harmless, but you gotta be careful these days. Now, back to what I was saying, my one episode idea would be about Grubber. How Tempest, finds out where Grubber is after the Storm King, because after the movie, if I missed a cameo of Grubber, please let me know, because I've seen Season 9, and I don't think there's any sign of him anywhere. So, I would have where Grubber is trying to move on from being a minion to the Storm King and being, I would learn him to to accept, not accept friendship, but like maybe there was a friendship there between Grubber and Tempest. Tempest didn't really, yeah, she jolted him, with her electricity a couple times, but it seemed like she tolerated him a bit. Maybe she did want someone to talk to, vent to, and, being that, typical, that kind of cliche villain of the sidekick screws up and they get kind of punished for it. Like, similar with Hades and Pain and Panic. But I would have where maybe Grubber's trying to open up a bakery shop. Because he has a sweet tooth. We all know that, because almost every time we see Grubber, he's eating something sweet. So, I think the idea is that after the Storm King's defeat, Grubber kind of settled down somewhere outside, like not really near Ponyville or Canterlot, just some, like, little town, similar to Rainbow Road Trip, where there are a group of ponies, and they kind of don't really want him there because of his past history, and this would be a whole Tempest-focused episode. No, like, I would have where Twilight makes a cameo, like, says that Tempest is going to pay a visit to a friend, see how he's doing, and then we follow Tempest journeying to this town where all the ponies are not too friendly with Grubber or her. And it's also about, maybe there's like a feeling of like, were we really friends, or did you just keep me around just to rough me up sometimes and just to scowl at me, It would be like an episode about Grubber's worth. Like, does Grubber feel like, were they friends, or were he's just a sidekick? And I would have where Tempest, not knowing much about friendship at that time, she's learning friendship. She's learning it. She's a fast learner, but she does not agree with how I don't know what the town would be called, but it would be like a town similar to Rainbow Road Trip where he's made home there, and maybe a couple of the Storm King guards act like as bodyguards, because I don't think Grubber would be the most combative. I think he would rather run from a fight than be in one. So he's got 2 Storm King guards, like, actually as guarding him, being like his bodyguards. But they're like, hey, like, they're always waving nicely, looking friendly. They kind of look intimidating, but the ponies are like, ugh. Like, hi, we're going we're going that way, bye, you're ugly. They would have some form of, like, one, hostility, and kind of like, why are they here? And it's about Tempest kind of telling Grubber, maybe we weren't really friends then, but we can be friends now. And I could see Grubber and maybe Tempest kind of arguing, maybe, over how Grubber felt. Like, he actually, there was a couple times where maybe Grubber says, we didn't really meet on best of terms, and we kind of talked and everything, but were we really friends? I could see Tempest, kind of being put into a corner, like, that's a tough question. She wouldn't know how to answer it, but she would be, like, maybe kind of getting kind of pressured, because, as we know, Tempest has been alone with the Storm King for a long period of time, and she's just trying to get the ponies' trust. And maybe some of the ponies would actually peek in and watch and see what's happening. Maybe they think that Tempest is trying to plan something, because, there would be that lingering fear of her. But I could see maybe where Tempest and Grubber have a massive disagreement, and Tempest just kind of blurts out, no, we weren't friends. And I think at first Grubber would be very hurt, and Tempest kind of realizes what she just said, but before she gets to finish what she was saying, Grubber kind of runs off, maybe somewhere into his little home, and like his kitchen or something, and he locks the door, and Tempest, I could see Tempest being kind of like, if you're not going to open the door, don't, like, I could see him being kind of funny where Grubber's tearing up, he's crying, he's maybe trying to make something sweet, or he's eating something, being depressed, he would be probably eating something sweet just to get his mind off of it. And I could see Tempest, like, knocking on his door, and she's like, let me in, Grubber, please. I could see her being nice at first, and Grubber's, like, not trying to acknowledge her, and Tempest's like, don't make me open the door. And then Grubber would be like, at first, thinking, she wouldn't. And he's like, nah. But then a big blast sends the door flying, and he's like, he has that look, like, on a wide-eyed look. I was just like, yeah, she did it. And then I could see Tempest kind of trying to compose herself, saying, if you let me finish, we weren't friends then, but we can be friends now. And she would apologize for how she treated him, even though she would say, I didn't treat you terribly, but the way I did treat you was not right. That kind of lesson. Like, maybe we weren't friends then, but I didn't treat you right still, but we could be friends now, I could treat you better. Better, that kind of thing. Tempest would be sprinkled out throughout my concept of Season 10, but the villain is Cosmos. Cosmos would make her presence known during a meteor shower, falling stars, at one point where she comes back. Like, similar to her presence in the comic. Would I add all the body horror she can do? That'd be kind of questionable. Would I give her the ability to uncomfortably shapeshift into certain characters? Yes. Because I would have her to where she can play with your mind. Like, you think of a defeated character, and she would appear as it, and it'd be like, I thought you were gone. She would she would toy with you, That's what I would do, And, Cosmos would reveal, like, I'm back, sweetie. And Discord's like, oh, no, not you. And also, Cosmos would be jealous and kind of threatened by Fluttershy. And it would revolve around the bond and relationship between Fluttershy and Discord. Fluttershy would be the only real pony to show him any legit kindness. Any other pony would be kind of agitated with him, distant. Now, we all know the main six, mainly Applejack and Rainbow Dash, don't really trust him even when he's redeemed, because he's that unpredictable. But I would make it to a point where maybe Discord, it's called, maybe there's an episode where Discord decides to help Applejack, but not using his chaos. He says, Applejack, maybe Granny Smith, Apple Bloom, and Big Mac go on some form of well-earned vacation while Applejack tends to the farm. But she can't do it herself. So Discord takes this as opportunity to hey AJ, can I help you out? And of course I don't think Applejack would want his help because, and maybe she would bring up, you tried helping Equestria last time. I would have where Discord says, if, maybe he's legitimately sincere and says, please, can I just help you and I will not use any of my chaos. And maybe Applejack, that would kind of perk her ears up a bit, she'd be like, I'm listening. And Discord finds how hard it is to work without using chaos. Basically, it would be a lesson of, how you can't take the easy way out. Everything you want and everything you need to do cannot be just solved by a snap of your fingers. And I think Discord would grow to have a more appreciation for what Applejack does. And here's the one thing. I would have him see the tree. And if you know what I mean, it's from The Perfect Pair. And I could see where Discord's kind of curious about it, and Applejack kind of talks about their parents. And maybe Applejack just makes the comment, maybe if you knew, maybe your mom and dad could have helped you raise you better to make you a better Draconequest. Maybe she feels some kind of sadness because maybe she notices Discord's kind of looking at the tree with some kind of sadness that maybe she didn't see before. And maybe she just says, Discord, maybe your mom and dad could have helped you control your chaos better, and maybe you wouldn't, be in the position you are in. And maybe he just says, just one little line, he just says, I never knew my parents. I don't even know if I had any. Because we don't know his origin in the show. We don't know his full-on origin or where he comes from. And I think, but also the mystery of Discord is what makes him interesting. We don't know how he was made, what he is, how he came to be. He's just there. And I think that would make Applejack feel like, oh. She knew her parents, though for a short time. Discord knows nothing of his origins, where he came from, or if he even has parents. And I think Applejack would kind of soften up to him a bit. Not too much. She'd still have that tough love attitude towards him, kind of give him that glare to keep him like, that kind of look. But I could see where Applejack kind of softens up to him. Kind of is like, and maybe she just looks at him and says, I'm sorry. There would be another episode where he kind of makes a bond with Rainbow Dash. Where, maybe Rainbow Dash has to go with the Wonderbolts. Tank is by himself. It's maybe basically Discord babysitting Tank, keeping him safe. And I would have where hijinks ensue, where Tank is kind of proof, even though Tank is slow, he is a handful for the Lord of Chaos. Because he says, I'll make the same promise with you, I won't use any chaos. And Rainbow Dash, I think, would be more reluctant than Applejack. And he kind of babysits Tank for a little bit. And maybe at one point, Tank maybe in this episode, Cosmos, after the two-parter of the beginner of season 10, where she temporarily leaves, she's not defeated. That would be the thing. She's not turned to stone. She's not banished. She's biding her time. She just wanted to see if her old honey still was up, still had it, still had all the pizzazz that he once did, that's what it would be, is that the big two-parter with Cosmos, is basically, she's playing games. She could shapeshift and look like previous villains, throw people off guard, and she finally reveals herself that she is Discord's ex-girlfriend. And she's very bitter of him because he doesn't like killing. He doesn't believe in that. Yeah, he believe in causing mischief and driving ponies nuts, but he doesn't believe in I'm gonna send you 10 feet under. He's not like that. But she doesn't have no issue with killing a pony or any creature or causing immense pain. And she's quite heartless despite her love of Discord. And she still kind of loves him, and she wants him back, but in her eyes right now, he's soft. He's changed. He's still chaos, but she feels that he's been tainted by friendship, by harmony. And she's gonna get the old Discord back. This would revolve where Cosmos would be a looming presence throughout the season 10, where she'd make quick pop-ups here and there. Sometimes her presence would be continuous through an episode or two. Sometimes it would just be a brief appearance where she's taunting Discord. And Cosmos, I think in the episode where he's babysitting Tank, would be where he got out and she sent a hungry rock, the giant bird, similar to when Spike got his wings, that she told a little birdie, or a giant birdie in this case, that there's a little snack waiting for him. And Discord finds out that the rock has been sent after Tank to eat him. And Cosmos is like, if you let that rainbow pony lose her favorite pet, where's she gonna think of you then? Is she gonna trust you ever after that? Time will tell. And then she snaps away and leaves. Discord gives pursuit to Tank, who's on his little propeller, because, he just decided to wander off because, he's going to find Rainbow Dash, seeing where she is. And, of course, the rock is flying over Cloudsdale, and the Wonderbolts are alerted of this, and Discord is like, he's got to break that rule because he just can't he can't really do it, but he figures out first, I'm going to have to break my rule. But then he's like, maybe I can distract him, the rock, and actually get him, buy time until the Wonderbolts get there. And he places Tank gently on the cloud, and he does do a quick little snap to make the cloud sustainable for Tank to sit on. But then he does use his chaos, but he puts on the Zoot suit or something, like a comedian almost. Like, it could have been... I know no one really knows of this guy, but his name was Groucho Marx. He was a comedian in the 30s, or like late 20s, early 30s, onto the 40s and somewhat 50s in films. He was a guy who wore a suit and had like a fake mustache, glasses, a wisecracker, and maybe he could have, like... That's what I would do with Discord. He makes like a parody of himself based off Groucho Marx. And, he's just driving the Rock crazy, and the Rock is like screeching and out of frustration, and the Rock is like, at first, like, the whole situation is like, the Rock is like, what the heck is this? And Discord is just annoying the crap out of it, and Rainbow Dash and the others show up and literally send the Rock running. And I could see where Rainbow Dash is like, is Tank okay? And he's like, yeah, Cosmos paid me a visit and sent the Rock after him. And she noticed that he barely used any of his chaos. He only used it to kind of distract the Rock and let the Wonderbolts and Rainbow Dash handle the rest. That I can see, getting Rainbow Dash to have some respect for Discord. And maybe even, Rainbow Dash says, do you think you'd do good with a pet? And, because, Fluttershy, there are going to be days where she's busy, and you don't need to be alone. You showed you are responsible with a pet. And maybe Discord's like, I don't know. He's hesitant. And I would make it where Discord decides, okay, I'll take a pet, and they got to find something that suits him. And there is one creature I think that would fit him, a weasel. A weasel is energetic, it's energetic, it's all over the place, it's squirrely, it's all over the place, and he gets a pet weasel. That's my idea, because I think a weasel, since it could, be all, it could, fold and roll around and is all squirrely and everything, can squeeze into areas that you're like, how did it fit there? That's kind of chaotic if you think about it. So, his weasel, I don't know what I would have the weasel named, but I really think having Discord getting a pet in my concept of Season 10 would make, this is gradually the pony's gaining his trust, and him being seen more as, maybe he did not mean to do what he did, because he's trying to make up for it. This also would revolve around Fluttershy and Discord's relationship, and how it is challenged. And, the season finale would revolve around Cosmos just can't handle it anymore. The more she sees Discord being nice, rarely using chaos less, but he still uses it. He doesn't completely stop using it, or as we know, if he does stop completely, he will vanish. Technically die. So, having Discord, showing a more sweeter side, actually helping without using too much chaos power, would drive Cosmos crazy. And with her, it's loneliness. Discord's getting all these ponies to like him and care for him and look out for him. She is lonely, but she's not letting go of who she is, and she's thinking that Discord had to let go of who he was to get love, attention, and those to actually care for him. And she can't stand that sight. She's like, you had to sacrifice who you are just so everyone could like you. And Discord would be like, no, I did not have to sacrifice who I was. I had to be better. I could still be me, but I had to be better. And I was a massive work in progress. He could say that to her, but through that, I don't... And also, I could see just Cosmos make an all-out attack on Canterlot. And at this point, Canterlot is still being... the Canterlot Castle is still being rebuilt. And I could see Cosmos, I wouldn't want it to be... I want it to be a little bit more tragic for Cosmos, because she's she's putting on... She goes giant size, kaiju size, which leads Discord to go kaiju size. Because I remember in the comics, Cosmos can get that big. So I would have it to where it's a battle of malice versus chaos. Change versus one who doesn't want to change. But this does lead to Discord being overpowered by Cosmos' sheer raw power. Like, she's not willing to change, she's not willing to let go. She's being fueled by hatred, malice, and chaos. But she's also hoping, and she's vowing to take the ponies and Pony that cares for him and the ponies that do care for him away, which would cause Discord to get so ticked off that he grows to gigantic proportions, just as big as her, and this would lead to a magical titanic brawl to where not even Twilight and her friends could get involved in this. And even the Alicorns are like, even like Celestia and Luna are like, getting involved in a fight like this between two spirits that embody one chaos and one malice is not a wise decision. But they will be there to back up Discord if needed. This would lead to Discord getting defeated, surprise, and that Cosmos is like, at this point of the fight, she'd be like crying, but she's angry. She looks angry, but she's crying because she's frustrated. Like, why won't you understand what I'm trying to say? They're ruining you. If you stay this way, you're just gonna be their puppet. They're the one pulling the strings. Like, what happened to you? And I could see Cosmos getting, like, very upset. Like, she feels like, you really think they care about you? You screw up another time, they're gonna turn you to stone. They're gonna not even think about you anymore. That's how much you'll value to them. And Discord would be like, you're wrong. And Discord would say, you know, you say you loved my chaos, but what did you love about me? And this is the point where Cosmos would be like, it would shatter what she thinks of him. Like, not in an evil, bad way, but like, he just asked a very, like, sensible question. And when does Discord make sense? It doesn't. I would have where Cosmos doesn't know how to answer it, and she looks kind of heartbroken. And I could see where Discord just says it the way it is. He said he would say, I'm taking a book out of Applejack's Book of Honesty, and I'm going to say, you loved my power, but you didn't love me. And I could see Cosmos crying, saying, I did love you. I did. Then Discord asks once again, what did you love about me? And still, I could see Cosmos, like, now her tears are getting, like, out of control. Now, here's the thing. I could see where, between everything she's experiencing during this season and scene, and the fact that Discord actually asked a very big question. Did you love me, or did you love the chaos? And if you did love me, what was it about me you loved? I could see where it's not really a heroic and triumphant victory, it's kind of a sad one. I would take it out of the book of Batman the Animated Series, where not every victory was hooray and cheering. It was like making you ponder, making you think, showing sympathy, empathy, pity. And that's why I love Batman the Animated Series, because Kevin Conroy's Batman was sympathetic to a lot of his villains, even to the Joker. Because why do you think he never killed the Joker? You know, one was sympathy, but he didn't want to end up like him, and he easily could have. He could have easily crossed that line. But this is where better get off the concept of Batman for right now. Cosmos would be crying to the point where she herself is turning into water. And she's just, like, holding her face, crying. And she just turns into a puddle of water and seeps into the ground. And Discord looks very sad, and maybe he tears up a little bit. And maybe Fluttershy asks, is she okay? Is she gone, or is she going to be okay? And he just says, a spirit like us, we don't really truly die, but sometimes we change. Maybe he just says that. Maybe she's just melted away because she's like, she couldn't handle it. She's got to basically regrow from from the bottom to top. And here's the thing. I would actually have where the next day, where she melted into tears, there would be a flower there. And it would be a flower to resemble that maybe Cosmos is going to grow into something maybe a bit better. Not truly be different, but something better. Like, something that goes away but grows to come back something to be better, to be greater. And it would end on a hopeful note for Cosmos. She is not fully redeemed, but she's kind of gone for now, and she's just taking time regrowing and rethinking everything. The final episode would revolve similar to the final problem, and honestly, it would practically be the same episode, because I don't think I could do anything different for the last problem. But, yeah, that's my idea concept for a Season 10 of FIM. So, I really hope you all enjoyed this video. Once again, this is a request asked of me by FreeSpace99, and I really hope he enjoys this video. So, if you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe, and, I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers before the end of the year, so if you could please help me and make my goal a reality, I'd appreciate it. So until next time, I am Draco Prime 220, signing off, and have a good night, everyone. Bye.